the Cray Unicorn Coaching, the weekly coaching call. Okay. And basically, really appreciate everyone to come here. We have people joining us, I believe from all over the world. Right now, I'm in Canada. Okay. I'll be here for 6 months. Although I used to base mostly in Taiwan. I think we have people coming from India, from Philippines, and also Canada. Okay, so we have a fantastic group. All right. Some of you have joined for a while. Oh yeah, and by the way, please mute, okay, when you are just joining, okay? Mute yourself. And then, but some of you may have, just joined, okay? So I think might be worthwhile for me to give a quick, share of the what this is about, who I am, what this is about. I think someone's still not muting. Okay, yeah, please mute yourself. If you're not speaking. All right. So, all right.
Hello,
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
I
Please
want
mute.
to ask something.
We will have QA afterwards. Okay.
Okay,
So, all right. Yeah. Please mute for now. All right. So basically, let me just share the my screen here a bit. Okay. All right. Whoa. Wow. Yeah. All right. Please mute. Uh, all right. We should, all right. Okay. All right. So, basically, I'm Shen Yuan. Okay. I have been a social entrepreneur since 2011. And, this journey has taken me to a lot of different places. We were actually, my first company was trying to build a metaverse. I used to be a virtual world researcher. And, it took me to Web Summit. Okay, in 2014, we were actually one of the first startups that attended Web Summit, which is, by the way, now a very big startup conference. We were the red herring Asian top 100 startup, along with MyCoin, which is now the biggest crypto exchange in Taiwan. And now, and my second company actually is called JCF, and it's a crypto index fund to make basic income universal. That brought me to meet with Tim Draper a couple of times. Actually, was invited to his lunch meeting and joining, also attended his Draper University. He's Mr. Bitcoin, invested to Skype, Baidu, Hotmail, SpaceX, Tesla, and also Yancy Trickler, who was the co-founder and former CEO of Kickstarter. And I helped Yancy to got his book, This Could Be Our Future, translated to Chinese in Taiwan. But one of my biggest mentors is Dr. Ben Hardy. Okay, I've learned from him since 2018, and he's the number one blogger on Medium.com for 3 years. He's got a fantastic family now of 7 kids, and also learn about through him his mentor and collaborator Dan Sullivan of Strategic Coach, who has coached over 20,000 entrepreneurs, likely the most I think experienced entrepreneur coach in the world. And Ascender actually is a something I wanted to sort of give back, also to sort of carry the torch in a way, because the journey for entrepreneurship actually hasn't been easy. And this is really an attempt that I want to help for those of you who may want to start up your company or simply have a very entrepreneurial spirit, right? That you want to innovate, you want to bring more to life to people around you, then this is for you. So Ascender actually has the goal of incubating 1,000 impact unicorns in the next 20 years. So you guys are all part of this journey, and I really appreciate it. And specifically, we want to focus on what's called the three-person unicorn model. Okay, because of technology, especially some of the exponential tech like AI, that you guys are aware of, ChatGPT. So we believe that it becomes increasingly feasible and even important for, just a small group of people to make really impactful and meaningful progress, to society, to world at large. And how we're doing this is basically we take the free materials that's publicly available from Y Combinator, which by the way is the world's large, one of the most famous accelerators in North America. They funded 4,000 startups, over 100 unicorns. The startup school materials is something I would recommend you to register. You can get it for free. Okay, just startupschool.org, I think. There is an 8-week module, but it will be tedious for you to go alone by yourself. So what we have done is distill that into small bits. You only have to spend about 15 to 30 minutes a day, and we, in the Create Unicorn course, we provide that view for free. And plus combined with some of the 10X mindset stuff, from Dan Sullivan. So this will be very central to our learning and coaching in this program. At the end of this period, which will end in June, you guys are the Q2 batch. What you can expect is you will be much more effective in your time, in your basically in your work, at a minimum. And hopefully you will also form great teams around your friends or colleagues and start some really interesting projects. Okay, some of that might turn and maybe become a startup enterprise and perhaps a unicorn in the future. All right, so that's my big hope for all of you. And just to explain about the structure, what we have is basically the Create Unicorn course, okay, which is looks like something like this. If you are, after you have registered, by the way, all that information is, I think, available in the WhatsApp channel that you have joined. Okay, you should get access to a course like this. So there is like one module. It's designed Monday to Friday, just a 5 to 10 minutes module. You can watch and answer some questions. That's it, okay, for daily. On a weekly basis, we have this coaching call. Okay, that's just 1 hour in duration, okay, where I will share questions, ask prompts, okay, allow you to do some thinking. And then, at the end, okay, at the end of this period, we will actually have what's called a demo day, where you can present your projects, to everyone here. And we will also invite some investor, friends to come along. All right. So this is pretty much it about what's it. And about the course structure is every month we actually have a flow where the first 3 weeks we will teach about some of the YC concept, 10X mindset. But the fourth week, which is actually, by the way, this week, okay, we will share one of the books from, Dr. Ben Hart and Dan Sullivan. So so you can actually, I obviously encourage you to read the full book, but knowing that you may not, you might have a busy schedule or you want just the quick nuggets from this, I will provide some summary and some thinking. All right. And just to make sure it's fair for everyone, and to keep the quality of our coaching call, we will not admit people after right now it's 10 minutes past, but just for the last time, starting from next week, if you are late, if you are beyond 5 minutes past we started, we will not let people in. Okay, all right, just to make sure everybody understands. All right. Okay, so usually we start by asking for sharing some wins. Okay, this is also very important. It's called positive focus, because oftentimes this is actually specifically related to what we want to share today.
Hello,
Captain
sir.
Game. Yes, please mute yourself. Okay, yeah.
I want to ask you
Uh,
something. Is
uh,
this
Hold on. We will allow quick Q&A at the end. Okay. Right now it's the coaching call. All right. Okay. All right. So basically, yeah, I mean, feel free to raise your hand. Okay, because we have a lot of people here. In Zoom, you have a virtual hand that you can raise. Okay, try to practice that. Okay, if you want to speak, you can raise your hand. okay? And I will call on, whoever to speak. And okay, so we would like to actually ask you to first share about your wins from this past week. Any progress, learning that you'd like to share? Positive focus with the group. All right, so Benish, yeah, go ahead. Benish, you can unmute yourself.
I
And
want to ask you something that what type of internship is that?
oh, okay. I will explain. Okay, basically, we are doing startups. Okay, so this is something you can join. Okay, basically, you are learn about how to create your own enterprise, own startups.
Okay.
So
And we
this
will
is
get internship certificates, LOR.
uh, there will be one if you complete the course. Everything has been explained in the WhatsApp group. Okay.
Okay, the course is
Yeah.
paid or free?
Yeah. So the period is until the end of June. Okay.
No,
So this
I'm asking you that the course is free of cost or paid. We have to pay for that.
no, it's fully free. It's fully free. All right.
Okay.
Thanks. All right. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So, all right. And one thing I'd like to ask you, since you've raised your hand, is there something positive, something, progress in your past week you'd like to share? Finish. Okay.
The progress is that I love to explore some always something new, and I have learned about trading, like how the patterns work.
Okay. How the patterns work?
Yes,
Okay.
like
Okay.
I learned the trading pattern view. What are the patterns? What are the things?
Okay. All right. Great. All right. Thanks. So anyone else would like to share just something, some progress that happened during the past week that you'd like to share? Please raise your hand. Let's hear a couple of more. Or Jane, would you like to share one? I think people are.
This is Netra. Can I share one?
Nita, yeah, all right, sure. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Awesome.
But
Okay.
please raise your hand. I mean,
Okay.
later if you want
Yeah.
to speak first. Yeah, Nita,
Okay.
go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So, I have been trying to go on a run in the mountains for a long time, but it was always like it's too cold today, it's too windy today, it's too rainy today. But yesterday I did it. So that's my small win of yesterday.
Okay. Excellent. Nita, all right. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. I mean, it's not easy, okay, to get into especially physical activity, but something definitely would encourage you, to do so. All right. Especially nowadays, it's much easier to sit in your room. Taleb, okay. Would you like to also share one win from your past week? Taleb, go ahead.
Sir, I want to say that, sir, if my proposal was only to show in your only in the PDF form only, or I have to do some work also, because I have
Oh, okay. All right. For questions, these will be answered at the end of the coaching call. All right. Okay.
what?
Okay. You can also type these questions in the chat room if you have any questions. All right. But right now, please share the win. So, what has something positive for you this past week? Taleb.
Uh, I am in India and there is very hot. The winds are very hot.
Okay, so I guess the win, I'm sorry, I mean, what's your progress, the win you like to share? All right, okay, all right. Okay, so yeah, thanks for I guess, the share, but hopefully you get a sample, okay, of what this is going to be like, all right? So let's start with today's materials. I'd like to share a bit about this, this diagram here. This is basically the idea of, okay. So by the way, this is one of the trilogy of books Dr. Ben Hardy and Dan Sullivan has co-written. It talks about a very simple concept, okay, gap and gain, but this is actually very crucial. Although Dan Sullivan is an expert at entrepreneur and he talks about 10x growth and mindset, but he also said that without you understanding the gap and the gain. If you just try to go 10x, it's actually dangerous. Okay. And the reason is that regardless of how much you have achieved, if you don't have the right attitude or mindset towards success, then likely more achievement will actually get you more frustration and even get you into depression. Okay, so how could that happen? Basically, this is a very simple diagram. Oftentimes we have some goal, right? And we try to reach the goal after some effort. So we will start from some place, we try to reach the goal. However, when we start to measure our progress, oftentimes we compare that to our ideal version. I'll give you an example. Let's say I have 5 goals, 5 tasks today I want to accomplish. I actually completed 4, right? But at the end of the day, when I look back, I see that, wow, there's one thing I did not do. Okay, so that's exactly comparing, my current status with the ideal. So I see the one thing I did not do. However, if I just only look at the gap, right? What does that tell me? That tells me maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I haven't been working hard enough, right? So that probably what put me into some bad state or mood. So Dan Sullivan realized, regardless, because he has seen a lot of high achievers, right? And the thing is, the way you really want to measure progress is not towards the ideal, it's towards where you started. Okay, when you start to measure progress from where you started, like I have completed 4 things, then likely that is something that will give me some momentum, right? Some positive feeling and energy. Okay, so this is actually something that people will actually you will actually be in a better state. All right, so keep this in mind. Now the book, The Gap and the Gain, I have done some summary. Okay, so over the in the course, so which you're welcome to have a look. But I like to also summarize some key points here right now. So the first thing is that there is actually a distinction between needing and wanting. Okay, and it's a fine distinction. Basically, the needing state is when you feel that you are incomplete. So, for example, I'll use myself as an example. When I started my entrepreneurial journey, I always felt that I need some capital. Okay, some of you actually might feel that way as well. Need some money in order to do certain things. Okay, so in other words, I'm assuming that I cannot do X, okay, if I don't have the money, if I don't have Y. So that's exactly the kind of thinking, right, where I need something. Otherwise, I will not be happy. I will not fulfill. I will not become successful. Well, that something you need, it's different for everyone. For some, it's a degree, right? So for some, it's my health. For some, it's time. Okay, but let's say if I don't have that, then I will not be able to do, I don't have X, I won't be able to do Y. All right, so that's kind of the needing concept, the needer mentality. However, this is a scarcity mindset. Okay, we want to actually realize the other way to look at this is we actually already have a lot, right? It's the same, you're the same person, but you can look at what you're missing, but you can also look at what you already have and really feel appreciated about that, right? For example, like every one of you right now have internet access, right? Likely you have food for your next meal, right? You are not sleeping on the street, right? You likely have a shelter as well. So already we are a lot better, right? Than probably, I don't know, 70% of the world's population out there, right? 60 or 70%. So we already have a lot, right? From that perspective, you already are loved. You have actually, there's abundant things in the world. And we are just trying to expand whatever things we already have, expand our happiness, expand on what we, have. And that could be in a wanting mindset. Okay, I want things to happen. I want to build a company. I want to initiate a project, right? I want to expand my professional capability. These are all things we want to do, but it's based on something we already have, right? And we already appreciate. So there's actually this, Olympic, the book actually starts with a Olympic skater story. You can go to the book to check, okay? There's audio book version. Basically, he's very talented, okay? And he always, he's good at his craft. Also, very loved by family, friends, supported. However, every time at the crucial moment in the last race, he would always make some kind of mistake, okay, and lost the chance to become the first place. He would always win the second place. So that was very frustrating to him and also, to other people. But at one time, okay, eventually he decided to actually to leave the to leave the arena. So to basically have his last to have his last performance or last race. And he started to think about and reflect about all the things he had been doing, which was he started to realize that he was given so much, right? So many people, his family, his friends have supported him along the ways, okay? And because of that, he actually felt a deep sense of gratitude, okay? And he just simply wanted to sort of say thank you to the world for what he has, been given and what he's been able to enjoy and learn, right? And with that mindset, he wasn't really trying to prove himself. He wasn't trying to win the race. Okay, he wasn't trying to, trying to grab anything. Okay, in that sense, he was trying to give back, trying to show appreciation, trying to say thank you. And I kind of get a bit of emotional when every time I share this story, because he was in a state of just wanting to share gratitude. And that was actually his last race.
Hello.
Okay. And what happened was, and Jim? Okay. And what happened was, he actually had the best performance of his entire career and life. And he won the gold medal at the last Olympic he attended. Okay, so that was, I think, a beautiful story. But that also show you when you are willing to let go, okay, of in the needing mindset and become, a wanter, as Dan would call it, then you are in a completely different state of doing things. So need reflects lack, scarcity mentality. And but wanting actually is abundant. It is an abundant mindset. Also, there's when you are there's also a difference between whether you are getting there's two types of freedom. One is the freedom from usually these are like freedom from hunger, freedom from certain lack. And these are from external, but there's another kind of freedom, which is based on your internal being. Okay, so I think there's also a distinction from there. So today's first question I like to ask is for you to think about what activities right now you are doing. Do you think it's based on need? In other words, you feel you lack certain things, right? Whether it's lacking maybe a degree, lacking a skill, lacking some capability, or lacking some recognition, right? Versus wanting. You simply want to do it, right? Nobody tells you to. You don't have to, but you want to do that simply because you want to. All right? Okay. So let's spend maybe 60 seconds, okay, just writing down your answer. What are some things right now you're doing that's based on need and versus based on want? Okay, you can just try to list them. Try to identify. All right, is the question clear?
Speak again.
Bench, is the question clear, or do you have a question about our question?
Speak again the question.
Oh, the question is, okay, what activities do you now doing? You feel it's based on need versus wanting. Is this clear? So we made a distinction between need versus want, right? Between scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset.
Okay.
Okay, all right. We probably have all things. For example, you volunteer to help, an organization. You probably don't need to do that, right? But maybe you feel compelled. You want to do that, right? Okay, you want to help someone. You want to, right? Or you want to, I don't know. For example, I love to jog. I want to just have a walk, after meal. Okay. Okay. And right, I don't need to. I want to, right? All right. So yeah, just the distinction. Okay, so spend 1 minute reflecting about this. Okay, so let's start. Okay. Yeah, please write them.
You live in Tokyo?
Okay, 10 more seconds.
Sir, I wrote answer in the chat box.
Okay. For now, just write it down. Obviously, you can share in the chat as well. Okay, but we will actually do some shares afterwards. Okay, in voice. All right. So at the end of this. So all right. So for the next part I'd like to share, okay, it's actually the second chapter in the book Gap and Again. It's called Be Self-Determined and Define Your Own Success Criteria. Okay, so we talk about there's actually different kinds of success. There's what's called external success, which is something that people can see, right? For example, the kind of school you go to, degrees you earn, money you make, right? Or maybe awards you have won, right? Recognition you receive. These are what's called the external standard. All right, that's everybody can see, maybe objective. But there's also what's called internal standard. Okay, which is what you measure yourself maybe internally. For example, like for me, the ability to control my own time is actually very important. Okay, what I want to be able to, basically decide all 24 hours what I'm doing. Okay, I have the capability to decide what I want to do for my time. Okay, that might be an internal standard, or I like to be simply an honest person, right? I don't want to lie about things. That could be also an internal standard I apply to myself. Now, this is an important and crucial distinction because when you try to measure yourself, right, we all have a sense of self-identity or self-worth. And people, we tend to use different standards to measure ourselves against, right? To see whether we are successful or whether we are worthwhile, right? So for me, for example, for a long time, how I measure myself is about how my parents, especially my mother, how she would look at me. Okay. Now that you can imagine, and she's a very critical person, she has a very high standard. So you can
Hello.
imagine, sorry, please mute.
I'm saying I'm on.
Okay, yeah, bench. All right. So basically, it's as you can imagine, right? If my mom is very critical, have a high standard, and I measure my self-worth against her, her words, then likely I will not have a very high self-esteem, right? That may not be a good thing. So it's actually important that we establish some kind of internal standard about who we are and how we're measured against. Okay. So for example, like there's this entrepreneur called Dean Jackson. He's also featured and described in the book. He's actually also a friend with Dan Sullivan, and in fact, he coined the term "who not how." Okay, that's kind of come from Dean Jackson. So he has a list of 10 things, which he said that I know, when I do this, I'll be successful. So for example, very interestingly, on that list, he has like when he knows he can quit anytime, okay, he doesn't have to do certain things. He can wake at any time, okay. And also, like for example, when he can wear a watch only for curiosity purpose, okay, then he's successful. Okay, so he has a list of things. And this is, by the way, so he's actually living according to his own rules and own internal standards, not by anybody else's or anybody else's expectation. Okay. So and there is also another story about a quarterback, okay, in basically American football. Usually, you know that quarterbacks are highly paid because they are like one of the most valuable. They help to score, right? So they are one of the highest paid, you oftentimes players on the sports team. But this particular guy, he actually, because he was trying to optimize long-term success for the whole team, he actually intentionally asked for a lower salary. Okay, so his team can have more money, resources to hire better teammates to play with him. Okay, and therefore maximizing the chances for the entire team to win. Okay, that doesn't really make sense, right? If you look at from a personal perspective, because if you're just trying to optimize your own income, then obviously the higher the pay, the better, right? But he was optimizing for something else. He wanted the entire team to be successful, okay, not just himself. And he knew also that for the long term, in the long term, if he were to be successful, the team has to be successful. And that means he wants to have better players on his team, okay, not just him being the star. Okay, so he actually asked for, 40% less of his, paid salary to support his team to hire better players. All right. So this is actually behavior that that actually shows after you have a internal goal that may be different from external or societal expectations. All right. And unfortunately, our public educations, the schools we often get for free, okay, they are actually designed to train, okay, to train people to become, standardized factory workers. So we oftentimes get, standardized tests, standardized ways to measure ourselves. But, we should probably learn to become more self-reliant and measure things according to what we see as important or valuable. Because then the drive of progress will come from within, from internally, not externally. Okay, it will also help you to be more grounded. And we all know the world today is getting more uncertain and turmoil, right? So unless you have, or until you have an internal compass of direction, otherwise it might be hard, to move forward. All right. So our next, question today is, I know, please list down 5 or 10 items. Answering the question, I know I'm successful when, ... All right. So please list, just, whatever. I'll give you guys 2 minutes on this. Okay. Just for list down 5 to 10 items. Sorry, maybe not 2 minutes, 90 seconds. All right, 90 seconds on this. List down 5 to 10 things. Once you achieve that, once you have that, you are successful. All right. Okay. So let's
Rolls
start.
Royce.
Vanish, you have a question?
The thing is Rolls Royce.
I'm sorry.
You said what you want to achieve. After that,
What
you will be
what you
successful.
want to achieve? What
Yes.
complete the
So,
sentence. I know I'm successful when ... All right. Okay. So everyone for 90 seconds. Okay, to answer this. All right. So let's start. Okay, so for 10 more seconds. All right, great. All right. So, all right, so let's continue with some of the, I guess that's what I'll share about the gap and the gain. Okay. And I'd like to share about something about the 10x mindset. Okay. So to go 10x, actually the theory or the formula is very simple. Okay. Basically it's a 3-step process. Dr. Ben Hardy right now calls it brain, floor, and focus. But you can essentially understand this as you want to first have a goal that is 10x, bigger, better than whatever you're currently setting up for yourself. Basically raise up your goal. Okay. And the next thing is based on that goal, you can then identify what's the crucial, 20% that will help you. But what may be the 80% of things that's below your standard? Okay, so you want to remove, whatever it's in the 80% of things you're doing. I guess let me just show you a picture of what I'm talking about. This is actually a framework that we will go back again and again, but it's actually crucial to keep this in mind. Okay, you can see my screen, right? If you're just going on a 2x trajectory, that means 80% you can keep, right? Only 10%, 20% are new stuff. But if you are to going on a 10x trajectory, this is to the right, you actually only keep 20% of the things that's existing. 80% has to be something new and in direct alignment with your bigger, better goal. Okay, so everything, this line separating the 20 and 80% actually is called the floor, okay, which is your minimum standard, things that you say no to. So for example, in the past, I might have, I actually, our family has a culture of arguing, okay, getting into arguments or debating, right? Maybe I should say debating. But I realized that sometimes some of the debates are just negative emotion flowing. Okay, so at one point I just told myself, no, I will not have any negative conversations, that will cause negative emotions. I will just say no to that. So what happens is, once I decided on that, every time there is a negative discussion or something that might promote some negative emotions, I will simply say, let's change topic, or I will leave the scene, actually. I will actually walk out, okay, and not getting into that. So once I have done that, I realized I was saving a lot more time, okay, from, arguments and debates. And that actually are valuable time I can spend elsewhere. All right, so that's an example when you start to raise your floor. Or maybe you have the experience of certain things, certain people around you are just not very productive, right? So if you can say no to those things, then you will create a time and space, allowing new things to come in. Okay, so it's actually a I guess an important concept that you want to keep in mind, that as we are doing and trying to go 10x, you want to first raise up your goal and also raise up the floor and say no to things, and then focus your time and energy on the key 20%. Okay, so reflection is actually, periodic reflection is also important. Okay, so in order to distinguish, what are the good things to keep, what are the things to remove, you want to do reflections on regular basis. For example, like at the end of the day, I will actually write down 3 wins for myself, okay, for the day. And also to plan for next day's, 3 more important things for me to accomplish. And you want to do that on a regular basis, not just like daily, but also weekly and monthly. And right now we're at the end of April, right? So it's a good time to do some reflection of your last month of April. All right. So our third question today is, what has been the biggest progress for you this past month? Okay, it can be work related, it can be study related, it can be, personally related. Okay, everything counts. All right. So I'll give you 60 seconds to just write down what has been your biggest progress this past month. All right, so for me, for example, I have come from Taiwan to now in Canada, and I'll be here for 6 months. That's a huge progress. Okay, I'm changing my context, my environment, and at a different place. Okay, all right, so let's start with 60 seconds, reflecting back, what's your biggest progress this past month? Okay, let's start. All right, 10 more seconds. All right, okay. So the other direction of thinking is that what are you going to do in the future? Okay, for example, next month, right? A commitment is actually what you are bringing to the future. So the next question is two sub-questions. What do you want to let go of? In other words, what are the 80% of things you want to say no to, let go? And what do you want to fully commit to? In other words, the 20% of things that you do, you want to take it to the next level. Okay, so what do you want to let go of, and what do you want to fully commit to? Okay, for your next month. All right, for May, because we're at this point, you can think and plan ahead for May. All right, for this, I also give you 60 seconds to answer. All right, so let's start. Okay, 10 more seconds. Okay, great. All right. So we'll now open up for some sharing. Okay. So please raise your hand if you like to share your digital hand. All right. And I will go by the order, I will pick up names and you can unmute yourself and share. And remember, this is going to be a mastermind. So we also appreciate not just the sharing, but also any feedback from the group. Okay. If anyone would like to feedback or raise question, ask questions to help dive deeper. All right, so anyone would like to share, please raise your hand. You can share either the answers to your question, to the questions, or any insights, you have sort of realized during this process. Also, you can ask questions, okay, obviously related to our question. Okay, so anyone? Talib, you would like to share? Okay, go ahead, go ahead. Yeah, but please raise your hand afterwards. I mean, next time. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I'm interested to work with you in your startup, which will help your harvest.
So you're asking a question, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you repeat the question?
Sir, I want to work with you in your startup to learn
Oh,
how to
I
work.
see. Okay, all right. So basically, if you're interested to participate in Pure Harvest, right, which is our in-house startup. For that, it's on Tuesday. We have regular sync. Okay, you can ask questions and then we will have discussion on Tuesday. But for today, it's on the Create Unicorn coaching. Okay, so you can ask questions related to our coaching. But for anything related to Pearl Harvest, please reserve that to the other channel and on Tuesday. All right. So Netra, yeah, go ahead. Please go ahead and share.
Okay, so for the scarcity mindset, I am constantly looking for new skills. So, in the next month, I have to decide on growth strategies for like M&A. I'm working on that. So I'm constantly looking for new things to study, like new books, new courses, new everything new. So it's like I always feel deficient of like I don't have this, I don't know that, I don't know due diligence, I don't know, like I have a lot of things that I don't know. So that's my scarcity mindset for the now, and that's also for startup also. Like I always think about I need to start something, but then I always think that I don't know this, I don't know that. So that's the same. And the second, that like the need. Okay, so I do write blogs, but I always think that I need to share my stories. That's something like I want people to know what I have been through. So I feel like if someone is in pain sometimes, and if they read what I have been through, so I feel like okay, there might be someone who might be helped with this. So that's my one thing, and not the need. Like oh yeah, the need.
You want to
Okay.
help, right? You want to
Yeah,
help.
I
Yeah,
want to help
okay.
people.
Excellent. Okay.
Okay. And internally, what I want to do is that when I say internally, I always believe in authenticity. My own. I want to be as authentic as I can. So I let go of bad things in myself. I'm constantly reflective of myself also. So another thing is that I want to achieve good health and I want to achieve calmness, a peace of mind, and I have to let go of people that drain me. There is this example. Last month, I was working with someone who took 5 days from my life to just make a poster, which was too much for me because it drained me. Like I was not able to sleep. It was too much, and I literally don't want to work with these kind of people anymore. So I think that would be it from my side.
Okay, excellent. Thanks for sharing, Netra. That's very lovely. So, anyone who would like to respond, feedback to Netra, or maybe ask clarifying questions for her? We want to be supportive, but also, reflective, right? Okay, so anyone from the group would like to
I can
feedback?
take a shot.
All right, yeah, Jane, go ahead. Yeah, thanks.
So, Nitra, it's great to hear you share your story and voice here. Right, so that's courageous, first of all. Second,
Thank
you're talking
you.
about your wants, right? Whether your blog, your authenticity, your peace of mind. I think they are awesome. I want that too. And your need, love to learn many things and feel not enough. I also share that. So my suggestion to you, to me, is pick up one thing, right? What's most important to you? Think about what Shunyuan just said, 80-20, right? Think about at least a few things you want to learn. Pick up one thing. What's the most important thing you think now? And start it on that. And from there, you probably will lead to what's the next thing and next thing and next thing. Hope it's helpful. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Thank you, Jane.
All
It
right,
was
thanks.
helpful.
Yeah, thanks, Jane. All right. Anyone else would like to feedback or like to ask Nitra a question? Okay, so yeah, please, be helpful. All right. So I'll provide my feedback. Okay. So basically, Dan Sullivan shared one simple tip or trick. You can flip from need to want. Okay. It's it's a technique, so everybody can maybe learn and practice, which is simply don't justify. Do not justify what you want to do. Okay, in other words, if you are trying to say, I want, I need to learn this because, or oftentimes if we try to justify things, I have to do this because, okay, because, then you're trying to justify yourself and getting approval from someone or something, right? But if you change your language and you actually don't think about justification, right? Then that switch you from being needing things to wanting things. Okay, maybe you can, can try that, right? So stop justifying for what you want to do. And once you have done that, then you naturally will start to be in a wanting state. Okay, so well, personally, I think there's nothing bad about trying to learn. We all are curious. There's a lot of things we still don't know. But I think there's a different way to look at things rather than I'm not good enough or I don't know enough. Maybe it's about I want to learn more about the world, right? Well, I want to expand my knowledge. I want to expand my expertise so I can potentially help more people, reach out to more people, and be a bigger contribution to my society, to those around me, right? So I think that's still the same activity of learning, of doing things, but with a different kind of uh, starting point. Does that make sense?
Yes. A change in
Okay.
perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's great, that you want to learn all these things, right? One thing I like to share with you guys is I actually, since I learned the concept of needing and wanting, abundance versus scarcity mindset, I actually intentionally remove the word need from my vocabulary. Okay. I've been practicing this for a while, but if you notice my saying, I actually don't use the word need in my words anymore. Okay. I I don't need anything. Everything I do is something I want. Okay. But I may be going a bit extreme, but it's something for you guys to, to adopt if you like. All right. Okay, great. All right. So Nitra, is that good for you?
Yeah, it was very
Okay.
helpful.
Okay, great. Hopefully that's helpful. We have a bit of time, so maybe one more person to share your answers if you want to be, to learn and to grow.
I want to ask that
Okay, Talib,
you
go
are
ahead.
that you are got everything what you needed, what you want.
Oh, so the question is, you want to ask me, do I have everything I want or I need? Is that what
Yes, sir.
is your question? Okay, all right. So I like to emphasize I still have goals. In fact, I have a very high goal, like, for Ascender, I want to incubate 1,000 impact unicorns, right? That's actually $1 trillion, okay, over company assets value in the next 20 years. Even YC, they only have 100 unicorns so far, 100 plus. I want to get 1,000, right? So that's like a crazy, impossible goal, right? But the thing is, again, going back to need and want, it's something I want to do. I don't need to do this, right? Obviously, I don't need to incubate 1,000 unicorns, right? Yeah, so I guess if you ask me if I already have everything I want in life, I still have things I want to do, I want to accomplish, and lots of them, and very high level, actually. But I think there is a difference, which is a crucial difference is even if I don't achieve those things, even if I don't have those things, even if I don't have 1,000 unicorns, or even if I did not even incubate one unicorn, okay, it's possible, right? It's possible, right? I would still accept that. And that has nothing against me as a person. Does that make sense? My self, self-worth, how I view myself will not be affected whether I achieve the goal or not. Okay. The important thing is that I set a goal. I try to go there with my best effort, right? I do everything within my capability, do the best, right? But if in the end it goes whether according to my wish or not according to my wish, it doesn't affect me as a person. It doesn't affect myself, my self image or self worth. Does that make sense, Taleb?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so if you're talking about do I have everything I need in terms of basic necessities, financially, I can share with you I'm good for the next 10 years of my life. Okay. I'm all
Yeah.
set for the next 10 years, which is why I am doing what I'm doing now, for free. Okay. Because I don't really need to make money from doing this. Okay. In fact, I want to create wealth. I don't need to make money, but I want to create more wealth for everybody that's involved. Make sense? Okay.
Yes.
So, all right. So I think we're at time. And usually at the end, what I like to do is ask everyone to write down, okay, on this form. I will share this in the chat room, okay? So this is actually a simple Google form. Please click on it, and I'll give you just 60 seconds to write just two things. One is what's the biggest takeaway for you today? Just one takeaway. And also what's one action you will make afterwards. Okay, it's important. After learning, you want to put things into practice. Okay, you want to act, not just learn. You want to act as well. All right. So I'll give everybody 60 seconds to write down on the Google form what's the one thing you've learned and what's the one action to take. All right. Okay, so let's start. 60 seconds. All right, 10 more seconds. All right. So maybe we can hear maybe a couple of shares from you guys. If you will, what's the one thing you learned? What's one action to take? Okay, anyone? You'd like to please raise hands. Oh,
Sir, I
Caleb?
learned
Okay,
that, sir, I
all right.
learned that don't say I need, said I want.
Okay, excellent, excellent. All right. Is that your action?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, excellent.
Now
Excellent.
onwards.
It's going to affect you big way, because language is
Let-
powerful. The language we tell
let's see.
ourselves is powerful. Yeah. All right. So anyone else you'd like to share what's the biggest learning and what's one action to take? Or you can type. Okay, if you are shy. Netra, would you like to share what's one learning from you and one action to take?
Yeah,
Mitra,
it
Mitra, yeah,
would
go ahead.
be, yeah, it would be things depends on me and how I perceive myself and my environment.
Okay,
Um,
great.
that is
What?
the learning for me.
Well, what's the action?
The action would be my it's written in there. Like I do have few actions in my mind.
Okay, okay, all right, okay, all right. So remember to take one action, at least one action. Okay. The best is right after this. Okay. You want to start to act towards your future. All right. Okay. All right. So I think thanks everyone who has attended. Okay. This is a big group. Okay. So probably we will have a bit of more coordination. Sorry about the chaos and the earlier. Yeah, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask, in the WhatsApp group. Okay, we have Karthik, who's also fantastic, helping us. He's actually from the last cohort. Okay, but he wants to do his own marketing agency. So, we've asked him to help us to recruit for this cohort, and he's done a fantastic job. Okay, so really appreciate it. He's very knowledgeable. Okay, and I think he's also very friendly. So, you guys can also to reach out to him if you want any help. All right. Okay, so I think that concludes today's coaching session. All right, and we will have a internal sync afterwards. All right. Okay. All right. So thanks. And for this concludes the first hour. Okay. All right. Thanks. So well, see you guys next week then. All right. Okay. Yeah. Take care. Take care. Bye bye.